Hi guys, and welcome back to Reads Readers with your host, Clinton Reed. And by the title of this video, you know, this is my list of my top 10 favorite authors of all time. The ones that are automatically auto-buy, ones that are, I will consume whatever they write. Oh, you announced a book? Oh, you announced... Ooh. Hold on. Tripod is not stabilized. I want to stabilize it. There we go. Sorry, guys. Sorry if that jumped anything. But I also have 5 honorees here that could potentially make this list in the future. Because I've only read like 1 or 2 or like a handful of things. And I haven't felt quite that they're like favorites, but I've had favorites of theirs. Does that make sense? Also, I'm going to preface this at the beginning. All of these favorite lists that you're going to be seeing, you're going to get authors, series, and you're also going to get standalones. Or favorite books type thing. I will preface, yes, I understand they're very white. I plan on rectifying that in the future. As I was making these lists, I realized the majority of my favorite authors and stuff are white people. So I plan on in the future reading more authors of color and seeing if I can't find some new favorites that are a little bit more diverse. So I will preface that. There are a few diversities in here, but I will say the diversity mostly in my lists are queer. So I do want to expand my diversities, if that makes sense. Let's get into this list. I will warn you when we get to the top 10. Number 3 is a tie between 2 authors. I would like you guys to comment down below and see if you can guess some of my favorite authors before I get into the top 10. Because we're going to start off with some of my honorary mentions, and I will explain why. They haven't quite made this list because of, I think each of these I've only read. I've either only read 1 book or 1 series by these authors. So, except for the second to last of the honorees, we'll get to that one in a minute, and I'll explain why that one's a potential. So, first off, we have Emily Henry. I have only read Beach Read, and my rule is, with the exception of 1 author on this list, I have to have read 3 or more books by the author for them to become an all-time fave. Now, there's an exception of 1 author, and there's sort of an exception with another, but we'll get into that later. But Emily Henry, I just recently read Beach Read, and I absolutely loved it, and I was bawling my eyes out. So, I have a sneaking suspicion, based on her writing style, I would like to check out her 2 other adult romances, and see what I think. But I feel like she could be potentially an auto-buy author for me. Now, next is, I'm going to go with Serena Bowen, not Elle Kennedy. But the only series that I've read of anything of Serena or Elle's is the Him series. Hold on. I just realized something. This is not on. Okay. Sorry, ring light wasn't on. Wanted to turn on the ring light. But, like I was saying, I have only read this series by them, but I have more on my list for Serena than I do Elle on books that I'm really interested in. So, let us look out to the future and see if Elle Kennedy pops up on some queer series that I love. Another one is Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. You will see Boyfriend Material pop up on another list. I have only fully read this one by Alexis Hall, so I would like to read more from her. I have started another one, and I put it down of his. Why did I say her? Alexis Hall is a he. Yes, he is a he. My bad. I started their something fabulous, but because it's historical, it didn't really jive at my moment that I read it, so I want to reread it eventually. But I am super excited to try out more Alexis Hall in the future. So next, this is the one that I've read more than just 2 books. I've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've read 5 books by this author, and that is Katie Robert. I'm not the biggest smut reader these days. Like, I like me a good smut, but I prefer queer smut. So I want to read more Katie Robert and see if Katie Roberts is an automatic, like, auto-buy author. Because right now, like, I have 2 series of hers that I'm auto-buying, which is the Wicked Villains and the Neon Gods. So, but that's Disney and Greek, so it makes sense. But right now, she is not an auto-buy author where, I have to read everything she's ever wrote. Oh, I did make that 6 because I DNF'd one of her books. So it's I need to know, is this an author that is I have to read everything they've ever wrote? Or is this an author that I'm I enjoy? So she has potential to become on this list. So, and the last honoree is Chris Ripper. They go by the Z-zer pronouns, but I have a hard time pronouncing those, so I will be using they, them. I just want to preference that. I do understand that it's Z-zer, but I'm still trying to learn. Let me attempt. Z has a potential, or Chris has a potential to become an auto-buy author for me. This is the only book I've read by Zer, by them, and that is Book Boyfriend, and this currently is my favorite book of 2022. So I would like to read more by this author in the future, and I feel like this author may knock out one of the authors on this list. It has potential to knock out one of the 3 prominent authors at the bottom. But we'll get there in a moment. But yeah, this is another honoree. Now let's get into these auto-buy authors. I will state number 8, 9, and 10 are all kind of equal for me. So there's really no one goes above the other. That makes sense. So any 3 of these could go in any order, could be knocked off this list, could be kept on this list, type of thing. These are just automatic auto-buys. So for number 10, for 8, 9, and 10 are these 3 authors. I'm just going to discuss them. We have Karen M. Mcmanus. I have loved everything I have read by her, and I have now read everything she has wrote except for the one that comes out in November. And once I read the book that comes out in November, I will give you a video on which, and I'm going to rank them, each of her books, on which ones I liked the best and which ones I liked the least. I will state one of her books I feel like I need to reread, because I feel like after reading more of her works, I feel like that one needs to be a 4-star, not a 5. So, we shall see. But Karen M. Mcmanus is super popular for One of Us is Lying, which is still my favorite currently by her, is One of Us is Lying, One of Us is Next, and I'm excited for the 3rd one in it. But she writes YA mysteries, usually set around a school setting. She is known for One of Us is Lying, One of Us is Next, Two Can Keep a Secret, The Cousins, You'll Be the Death of Me, and Nothing Left There's Nothing Left of Me, I think is the name of the one that's coming out. Something like that. And I just eat her books up like candy. Like, I have given almost every last one a 5-star except for The Cousins. I just didn't like one of the narrators in The Cousins. So I got a 4.5, but it's still an amazing book. And I actually still think The Cousins and You'll Be the Death of Me are some of her best written works. Like, as her books come out, she's getting better as a writer, and I'm just more and more excited for what she has coming out next. So I'm excited. Next, we have Marissa Meyer is on my list, and my favorite series by her is Renegades. And Marissa Meyer writes YA fantasy. She has the Lunar Chronicles, which are like a sci-fi fantasy retelling of fairy tales. Heartless, which is a retelling of Alice in Wonderland, which is an amazing book. I know it's my friend Nikki's like favorite book of all time. She also has wrote, I have 2 more of hers to read. Her newest series, Gilded, I still need to read it, and her contemporary Instant Karma, which I'm hoping to tackle those at some point this year so that I can give you a video of my full thoughts of all Marissa Meyer. And Renegades is superheroes. What if the superheroes were the villains and the villains were the heroes? But her books are just so much fun, and they just suck me in. And I just love it. And number 8, which goes with these other 2 authors, is Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have not read a Taylor Jenkins Reid book that I have not loved. I still have 2 books of her past to read, and her newest when it comes out, but I've heard really mixed reviews on Carrie Soto. So I'm a little scared on that one, because I didn't really like Malibu Racing that much, because the ending was a little anticlimactic. But I have given Taylor Jenkins Reid nothing less than like a 4 or a 4.5 star. Evan Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Maybe in Another Life are still my all-time faves of hers. So, she writes real, authentic characters that I just feel like I can dive into this, and I feel like I know that entire person's life. Does that make sense? But, yeah. Now, the next 7 authors currently are set in stone where they are. Well, 8 authors, because number 3 is is duo. We'll get there. So, can you guess my top 7? I'll give you a few seconds. Are you done? Okay, cool. In 7th place, this will make Kaylani really happy to see Sergey Moss. Specifically, A Court of Mist and Fury is why she is not a by author for me. I know there are so many problematic things about Sarah J. Maas, but you know what? I don't care. I'm mass trash. I will read anything and everything by Sarah J. Maas. I am currently reading the Throne of Glass series by her, and I have 2 more books in that to read. We're reading Tower of Dawn this month, and then Kingdom of Ash, which I am not ready for how this series is supposed to end, and I've heard that book is going to knock me out. And I still need to read Silver Flames. But I plan on, the minute I finish Throne of Glass, I'm going to reread ACOTAR so that I can read Court of Silver Flames. And I am excited! And I have read the Crescent City series. I am mass trash. No more explanation. Just go with it. Next is an author who I discovered last year and has slowly become an auto-buy author and an all-time fave. And that is Annabeth Albert. She writes male romances predominantly. I have now read the True Colors series, her Rainbow Cove series, Featherbed, which is the first in the Vino and Veritas series. She is the which is a series where multiple authors are writing different books in it. I have read the second book in the Something Force series, Security Force series, Hard Job, and I have plans to read everything this woman has ever wrote. This woman might actually move up on this list eventually, but right now she sits at number 6. Because I feel like number 4 may drop to number 6 eventually, just because of who he is and how it's like he's forever going to be on this list, but I feel like he may drop a little bit because this author and the next one may surpass him eventually. This one may surpass the next author, but this one has some potential in the future list to be a lot higher. Just want to preference that. Because so far I have given nothing of hers less than a 4-star. I've only given one book a 4-star, and that was only because it was a novella and it was too short. And I wanted more time. But Annabeth Albert is fucking phenomenal. If you have not checked out her books, check them out. And can you guess my top 5, guys? Can you guess my top 5? And in 5th place is Casey McQuiston. Because Red, White, and Royal Blue. I am trash for Red, White, and Royal Blue, and I cannot wait for the movie. I gave this 5 stars. Granted, I did give her other 2 books, One Last Stop and I Kissed Shara Wheeler, both 4.5 stars. That is only because they cannot hold a candle to Red, White, and Royal Blue. I read Red, White, and Royal Blue the first year it came out because I read the NetGalley arc to this, and I read the arc 3 times before the book came out. Read it when the book came out. I've listened to the audiobook like twice since, and I will open this book up in random spots just to be back with these characters. And I'm rereading it this month. Matter of fact, I'm rereading it this week because I need it in my life. So, I am trash for this book, and I cannot wait to see what they do with the movie. And if it does, it's, yeah. Do I need to explain further? Next is a childhood favorite, which may knock down just a little bit just because of Casey and Annabeth and my love for them, but that is Rick Riordan. I have been reading the Rick Riordan books since the very first one ever came out. His Lightning Thief, Percy Jackson. I have been reading all of his stuff. I have been also rereading a lot of it with Mel. I know she is currently in the Apollo series, and I'm a little bit behind, so I may catch up. I haven't decided. Or I may wait until Hope and Morgan get to that series and read it with them. But Rick Riordan is an automatic. You put Rick Riordan's name on something, I'm buying it. Rick Riordan presents Rick Riordan. There's something about Daddy Rick that just keeps me coming back to him. And I am super excited for the Percy Jackson TV show that we're getting, because I feel like it's finally going to get the adaptation it deserves. And I'm holding up Magnus Chase because this is actually my favorite series by Rick Riordan, all because of Alex. But I'm not going to have to say any more about Rick. Now, in number 3 spot, we have 2 authors that, for some reason, my brain will not put one above the other, and vice versa. So they are sitting at number 3 together, and I feel like they will always be together because they are married, and I'm really good friends with them, and I fucking love them. Have I told you who it is? In number 3 spot, we have Adriana Mather and James Bird. Married couple, adorable son named Wolf, who I just love, who was born on my birthday a couple years ago. So, even better. And I have met and hung out with these people. I talk to them a lot, and they're amazing, and they just, warm, fuzzy feelings when I think of these two people. I'm going to talk about Adriana first, because How to Hang a Witch came into my life in a moment that I needed it. How to Hang a Witch has a character named Samantha. My sister's name was Samantha. I read this. A friend of mine sent me the book trailer for How to Hang a Witch. The night my brain almost attempted another attempt at suicide. I don't like talking about suicide on this channel, but I will state this book helped me out of one of the darkest moments ever. She sent me that video, and I was just in love. We didn't know if it was a TV show, a book, or what. And I just happened to go to Walmart shortly after seeing said video. And I was walking down the book aisle just like looking. And this book literally fell off the shelf, facing like this towards me. And I took it as a sign that it was the book that was in that trailer. And I had to buy it. When I tell you I read a book 5 times in a row, which pulled me out of the darkness, that is this book right here. This book will forever be on multiple lists. Adriana, I hold a high esteem for her. She literally helped me in a way that I never thought a book ever would. Try not to cry. And then we get to her husband's debut, The Brave, where there's a moment in here and there's a letter written from a character to another character, which felt like my sister was telling me it's okay, that she's okay. So these two wonderful human beings will always be on my favorite authors auto-buy. I will support them any which way I can. I will buy their movies. I will buy merch. I will do. These people have saved me more than I think they will ever know. So that is why they are in my top 3. I'm gonna set them down now before I start literally bawling on camera. Whew. Which you will see both those books probably on another list. And in number 2 spot, can you guess my top 2 favorite authors? If you can't, are you really a follower of mine? In number 2 slot goes Alice Oseman. Now, do I need a preference why? Alice Oseman, reading her books, I felt like hers and the next author, if I would have had these growing up, I would have never had the thoughts of suicide or anything, because I would have known I am who I'm supposed to be. Alice's books have brought me so much joy. Just if you haven't read anything by Alice Oseman, check out Heartstopper and Loveless specifically, because you will never go wrong. I'm not even going to preference why this next author is my number 1 favorite author of all time. We have interviewed him for Season-a-thon, which was amazing, and that is T.J. Clune. Do I need to tell y'all really why he's my favorite author? I have talked about the Green Creek series, Cerulean Sea, House Under the Whispering Door, the Extraordinaries series, Bear, Otter, and the Kid, the graphic novel, which I cannot think the name right now. And I am currently hosting another Clune along of his Lightning Struck Heart for the Tales of Riordan series, and I am currently reading that one, and I have not laughed this hard in so long. If you're doing the Tales of Riordan series, and if you haven't started the book, go into it with very low expectations, because this is just a hoot and a half type of ride. Don't expect lyrical everything. This is like an, oh my god, guys, you're a prude type of attitudes. It's fucking everything. Just everything. So those are my top 10, 11 favorite authors of all time. Did you guess any of them correctly? If you did not guess these two in the top 2 spot, are you really a fan of mine? Kidding. But if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. And if you're new, you might as well hit that subscribe. Because we are going, I don't know which order these videos are going to post, but you are going to get my favorite books of all time and my favorite series of all time. Which my favorite books, I think, is 15 books. Because I have 5 honorary, but 15. And then I think series has 3 honorary series for reasons, which you'll have to check out. And then, because you guys have asked for them, time and time again, I get asked by certain people, you will eventually get to see my top queer rom-coms of all time, and my top queer YA standalones of all time. Because we do read a lot of queer in this household. And I also have Sterling working on his favorite authors of all time list. Specifically queer. Because you guys want to know the answer to that. And just so you know, his is more diverse than mine. So I need to change that. But that's all I've got for you guys today. Remember, kids, always be fabulously yourself. Until next time, bye-bye!